Oh, it's pretty humid. It just rained a couple of hours ago, but still, it's pretty good weather to ride in. At least the breeze is cool. It's been ages since I, put out a vlog or any video on my channel, and as you all can see, I've upgraded big time. So this is my brand new 2017 KTM RC390. I'm named as Jessica. For those who like to, name your prized possessions, it's sort of a trend. I have almost completed 2 months on her, and I have clocked about 4,212 kilometers. So I think I'm in a fair position, to make a 2-month ownership experience / semi-review kind of, video, where I can list out the pros and cons. Basically my opinions on what I feel are the positives and negatives of this vehicle. Everyone has different opinions, but still, man, I love this vehicle. How beautifully it's priced in the Indian market right now, what it offers. It's basically a bang for a buck. You can't get better than this at this price range, or even, if you manage to add in a little more cash, there's nothing that can come close to this in terms of the sportiness. Of course, like, there are various, vehicles in this segment, like the Yamaha R3 and the Ninja 300, but these three are so similar yet so opposite in what they offer. It's surprising, especially, see, the first thing that comes to the Indian mind when you buy a vehicle is price, okay? Now, when you talk about price, the Ninja 300 is the costliest and the RC390 is the cheapest, okay? And the Yamaha R3 sits in the middle. In terms of features and all the bells and whistles that the vehicles offer, the RC again takes the lead. You have ABS, you have projector headlights, you have Metzelers, and you have a beautiful suspension setup that is ready for the track. That is followed by the Yamaha R3. In the Indian market, it doesn't come, with good tires. It comes with really, really poor MRF tires. And on top of that, the suspension is set on the softer side. If you wanted to perform even anywhere close to what the RC performs on the track, you would have to spend a lot of cash on the R3 to, make it track ready. And then comes the Ninja 300. It's been in the game for quite a long time. It's the most expensive because it carries the Kawasaki brand name. Although those bikes, the Yamaha R3 and the Ninja 300 have, parallel twins. So the power plant is butter smooth compared to this. This is harsh. I won't deny it. But the way that the power is delivered in these bikes are completely different. It's really powerful low down and in the mid-range, but it lacks a top end that the parallel twins have. That is a bonus of a parallel twin, and this doesn't sound as great as that. But then where you have to gain something, you have to lose something. So that's a personal choice. At the end of the day, I felt that this bike fits me perfect, suits all my needs, regular commutes, and Sunday ride fun. So this was the weapon for me, and I chose this. Don't get me wrong, the Ninja 300 and the R3 are beautiful pieces of machinery in their own right. It all depends upon the buyer, what you want. And for, those people who tell that how can you use the RC for everyday commutes, it heats up and all those problems used to exist in the previous versions, man. If anyone tells you that the latest RC heats up, he is probably, talking shit. It doesn't, man. I have been with this bike through peak traffic. I mean, literally stop-start traffic, and this bike hasn't heated once. And it was during the peak summer. If I remember right, the first time that the bike showed me coolant warning temperature, it was 46 degrees that day, and I was in stop-start traffic. The bike never shut down, but it did show me the engine, the coolant temperature warning once. That is accepted, of course. This has such a high compression ratio, and if you're going to put it, neck deep in heat and traffic, you should expect that. But still, this bike performs beautifully. It doesn't heat up like the previous versions. They have done, something with the way the radiators positioned and the cooling fans and stuff. They have, tricked it out a little, and it performs beautifully. No doubt about that. Then let's talk about the brakes. Yeah, there is a huge difference in the brakes, especially comparing it to the old models, the previous models. This bike, the 2017 version, has a repositioned brake caliper. It has sintered brake pads, a new 310 disc, and a new brake master cylinder. So all these things coupled together provide exceptional feedback and bite on the RC, especially the way when you want it to stop, it stops. Unlike the old RCs which lacked the feel and felt a little spongy. The brakes on this are amazing, man. A huge improvement. Kudos to KTM, for taking the initiative of sorting out whatever issues the customers had with the previous versions and making this product near perfect. Now let's talk about the suspension. So the suspension hasn't received, any major upgrades of sort. Although you can adjust the rear suspension to your, preference. Since I am a guy on the heavier side, weighing approximately 90 to 93 kilos, I've set it to the stiffer side, so that it stops the wobbles and all that stuff, and the bike performs beautifully. The suspension is amazing, and even the front, the nose doesn't just dive in, sort of. It's good, exactly how you want it to be. Yeah, what else? Looks. Now this is a very touchy topic. Looks are always subjective. People might find it good or not. I feel that the old scheme and the new scheme both are amazing. I love both of them, man. I like this one and the other one, which comes on the previous generation RC. So that's that. Another major change that comes with the new RC is the exhaust, because of the Euro 4 emission norms. So you don't have the exhaust note of the RCs before, like people used to complain. It sounds like a auto rickshaw and stuff. It is partially true, but you know what? Every vehicle has its own signature trademark sound. Now, if you rob the vehicle of the trademark sound, it loses a bit of its character. I actually prefer the old sound, produced by the old RCs, because the new one is extremely hush, silent. Only once you pick up the revs and you really push it hard, you get to listen to the throaty exhaust note. In the higher end, of course, the new RC sounds better, but otherwise the road presence of the old RC because of the exhaust note is unmatched, man. Sorry, the truth is harsh, but it is the truth. Other than that, what else? Yeah, I completely forgot to tell you guys. The new RC comes with a ride-by-wire throttle system. So it doesn't have the conventional, throttle cable like before. It's controlled, electronically controlled now. So your throttle movements are regulated by the ECU, and the ECU tells the, computer what to do. There is a significant improvement in the throttle response compared to the old RC. I have driven my friend's old RC, and I can tell you that the throttle by wire does make a difference. It really does. Your throttle is much more sharp, and the jerkiness that you experienced in the previous generation RC, in stop-start traffic, that has been reduced to a good extent because of the ride-by-wire throttle. And because of Euro 4 emission norms, this vehicle is much more cleaner and eco-friendly. Okay, what else? Yeah, talking about the projector, the lights, KTM, you screwed up big time, man. You really screwed up big time. Most of you might know that the old generation RCs, when you put on the high beam, both the bulbs, both the low beam and the high beam work together. But due to Euro 4 emission norms on the new RC, as you all know, AHO auto headlight on, this vehicle is having its low beam always on. Now the sad part is when you switch it to high beam, only the high beam bulb works and the low beam bulb becomes off. So because of this, what happens is that when you are looking forward only at high beam, things close towards you or near you, you can't see them. you can only see stuff which is ahead of you. So that's a huge drawback. Now the only way to temporarily the Indian jugaad, if you call it, what I do is, if I'm passing through a really dark area where I need both the low beam and the high beam spread, what I do is I just leave the button on low beam and I press the high beam flasher. I just hold the high beam flasher so that both the bulbs are on. This is not a solution, but this was one thing which really pissed me off in the new RC. When your bike has such good lighting capabilities and it's not utilized to its full potential, it really pisses you off. So yeah, so that's one thing that irritated me. So that is it. That's about the RC. All the pluses and minuses, my views and opinions. Everyone might have a different opinion. This is mine. I'm happy with Jessica. She served me beautifully. I just went to a trip recently to Nainital and I had a hell of a time with my friends and Jessica. If you think that you cannot tour on an RC, it's just a mind game. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. I went around 270 kilometers on the RC and I didn't find it extremely uncomfortable. Of course, it is a super aggressive position for a sport bike, but still, I managed. I found to learn peace with it. So that's that. I hope you guys found my opinions in this video informational and interesting. I'll try to upload videos regularly. So I hope to see you guys in the next video, right? Okay, so till next time, ride hard, ride safe, goodbye.